Hi, this is Josh with IT 210 Linux, going over creating a new virtual hard disk and partition. So I did things a little easier this way. Actually took screenshots step by step of everything I did. So this is my Ubuntu machine. So I got the ls block command showing the current partition. So we have SDA and then three different partitions there, SDA 1, 2, and 3. And then if we're going to do else block dash a, goes into a little more detail. And then going using sudo gdisk dash l shows the information for the size for the current partitions that we have here. And so using in gdisk the different commands, so we got dash n will create a new partition, dash o will clear out all partition data, p will display the basic partition summary data, and then q will quit from the program. So when we're using the sudo parted l command, this is what it looks like on my machine. This shows the current partitions, the file system type on the partitions, and then if we go down, we can see what command can be used to display a list of partitions on the device, sudo fdisk-l. So this will put in fdisk-l is what shows up for my machine. So now we're going to answer a few questions. We have what command renames a partition, sudo e2 label, and then you have the destination, the current label, and then you're going to type in the new label. What command deletes a partition, sudo fdisk basically the location of it. And then you're going to go through some options. You'll put in P for printing out the current partitions. D will delete them. And then you're going to press W to write because that saves your changes. And then Q to quit. So after adding the partition to VirtualBox, it shows it here under SDB, shows our 10 gig partition. And we're going to use sudo gdisk. We're going to go through the commands on that to create our new partition. It's going to ask us, so we're going to use the dash n, which is create new. Partition, we're going to do partition 1 because it's going to be the only one partition on this drive. We're going to do the default for the first sector. Last sector, we'll do default 2 because we're going to make the whole partition the 10 gig size. We're not going to make multiple partitions. Current type is 8300 for the Linux file system. We're going to go ahead and use that. So default's all the way down the board. And then we're going to do W to write. So it says final checks complete. This will override existing partitions. Do you want to continue? Yes. So now we're going to go through, and it's going to show here, if we do fdisk-l again, it's going to show our SDB1 as our new partition with our 10 gigabytes and our Linux file system. We're going to want to make our directory. I kind of did this a little out of order, but that's okay. Make directory for data 1. So we go cd/mount to get into the mount directory, and then we're going to make data 1. So when we go back under ls under mount, shows our data 1 directory right there. And then we're going to make the file system for our partition. That's what I should have done before making the directory, but it doesn't matter. It will still work just the same. Sudo mkfs-t, we're going to use ext4 file system, and then that's going to go to our /dev/sdb1 partition. So it shows here that we've formatted it in that file system, and then we mounted it. So we're going to do sudo mount /dev/sdb1, and we're going to mount it to data 1. No news is good news, so it doesn't kick back a response. And that's a screenshot of our, if we type in just mount, what it kicks back at the bottom there shows our mounted data 1. So this is the actual running virtual disk. And then we can see at the bottom, we have /dev/sdb1 mount data 1. And then, the question they asked was, did I learn something new? What knowledge should I acquire creating virtual disk and partition within our virtual machine? I've done it before with Windows. This is the first time with Linux, and setting it up on the virtual machine part, not new news, but everything else after that, completely different from Windows. So I did learn a lot and how to create and format and mount a partition. Thank you for watching.